Okay, guys, welcome to the day in the gym with Aaron. I've got so much great information I want to deliver to you guys. But first of all, I just want to go through some basic stuff in regard to, I suppose, an overview, everything that we're going to be talking about. I've got two videos, two cameras set up for good reason that you can see the technique when I am exercising, when I am moving, and I'm talking about posture, technique, and all that sort of stuff. So I will be shifting. I'm inside at the moment, but I'll be shifting outside as well, when we go into a different phase of training. So I'm starting inside for one good reason. It's really cool inside with the air conditioner, and it's pretty hot outside. So I suppose we could call it a few housekeeping rules. I am recording this for educational purposes, and people that couldn't make it today can re-watch the recording. If you've got any questions, you can ask me during, but ideally I'm going to open up 10 or 15 minutes at the end just to answer any questions that you may have. I've got some great prizes to give away to you guys today. I've got a 12-week coaching package that I'm going to give to one lucky participant. I've also got a 12-week coaching upgrade. So this is for existing members that have decided to join me today. I've also got a fantastic 50% off offer for everyone today. So this is 50% off a coaching package. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more at the end, but I wanted to speak about, most importantly, is the charity. I wanted to thank you guys so much for registering. 35 registrations, which is absolutely fantastic. So I sort of had a target to get around the $400, so pretty close to that, which is absolutely amazing. So that's about 10,000 Thai baht. So 10,000 Thai baht could probably feed a family for about 4 to 5 months. So that's a lot of money for someone that obviously can't afford food. So that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for your registration. I'll be talking a little bit more about this for next week, when I do some volunteer work on the food truck as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be showing you guys exactly where your money is going. So that 10,000, or pretty close to 10,000 Thai baht, is going to be going to, obviously, more unfortunate people that can't afford food. So I'll be doing a whole video series and pictures and all that on that. That'll be next Thursday. So keep your eyes open for that. Okay, let's get into it. An overview. Well, I suppose, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Aaron Buchan. I've been a fitness coach for almost 2 decades now, working in the fitness industry as a personal trainer, and obviously many qualifications. I've gone into triathlon coaching, strength conditioning, so many different things that I've done. But these days, what I'm concentrating on is it's more weight loss. I really enjoy when people can lose 10 or 15 kilos. It's something I get excited about. And I love when someone comes to me and they go, I've tried everything and nothing seems to work. Well, I've definitely got that solution to help people make those changes that they need. So I suppose the overall, goal of today is to teach a long-term foundation in regard to what we need to do to get a really good result in regard to weight loss, okay, or strength conditioning, increasing the metabolism. All those types of things are really important when we're coming around or talking about transforming the body. So the overview today, I want to really quickly touch base on my 6 steps to optimal health, because the 6 steps to optimal health is the foundation that you need. If you haven't got them 6 steps to optimal health and you're going to the gym or you're doing all this stuff, right, you need to crawl before you can run, so to speak, right? So we have to set that foundation so it makes it a lot more easier for long term. And this is a big problem why people fail in exercise program, they go to the gym or whatever, is because they go into too much advanced stuff, right? It becomes too hard for them and they haven't got that foundation set properly, so they create so much stress on the body they don't actually get a result. So all this type of stuff is really, really important to make sure that we set that foundation and obviously set you up for a long-term success. I'm going to be talking about some activations, right? Activations before we actually get exercising, right? We need the muscles to be firing, right? So most people who want to lose weight haven't been exercising, right? So pretty much like 8 times out of 10, they sit at a desk for 6 to 8 to 10 hours a day, right? So their posture's not good. Their muscles aren't activating. So we need to get them muscles activating before we go in the gym. Because if we don't, what we start to do is recruit muscles that we don't want. And this starts to lead to more postural imbalances, pain, and obviously something can go wrong, like an injury, etc. When we're talking about core conditioning, right, another foundation. And we're talking about introducing the strength, right? Introducing strength and conditioning. Again, like I just said before, most people go, I want to lose weight, I want to start in the gym, I want to start training. So they go into all this advanced stuff, right, that their body is not ready for. Okay, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about a training age as well. So this is a big question I like to ask when I start coaching someone, like, what is your training age? So what that actually means is that how many years have you been training for? Generally, with a professional or an expert or someone that has given you some correct guidance, right? So what's your training age? Right? So most people have got a 0 to 3 year training age, which is not a lot, really, right? As a professional, if you've been training for only 3 years, that I wouldn't say that you are advanced, right? Depend on the situation. Obviously, genetics has got a lot to do with it, your job, so many factors to take into it. But training age is a good question to ask, even ask yourself, right? Like, how long have I been training for? Is my technique good? Is my posture good? Have I got pain anywhere in the body, right? All those questions are really, really important to understand before you start to go into any sort of advanced training. So that starts to lead into periodizations as well, right? A periodization means your training structure. How are you progressing your training? And are you offloading your training, right? You can't just train the same way, at 52 weeks of the year. Right? So you can, of course you can, but it's not going to be as effective. And if you're progressing each week, right, you might be overloading, which will start to lead to a injury as well. So periodization is a really important part of your training program. I'm going to be talking about increasing muscle mass, right? Increasing your muscle mass is absolutely the key point, what we want to get you to in regards to your training for weight loss. Why? Increasing the muscle increases the metabolism, we burn more fat, right? So you increase your muscle mass, you start to burn more fat, right? Obviously, the weight is going to be a bit unbalanced because if you increase your muscle, you're dropping your body fat percentage. That doesn't necessarily mean that the scales are going to go down. But what it does mean is that you lower your body fat percentage, your muscles seem more toned, right? And you look better, right? So this is what most people want. Yes, it's important to get the weight loss, get the weight down, but we all get to a point in your weight loss journey that it starts to get tougher and tougher, right? So as we progress in the gym with the periodization of the training program, right? So we start to change our training a lot more, going to more advanced, which is going to start to build more muscle. That's when the results generally sort of slow down on the scales, but the transformation is a lot more intense, right? We start to see some more muscles coming through. We start to see, obviously, our abs start to come back. Okay? All these sorts of things are really, really important. I'm going to be touching on injury management and prevention as well, right? This whole workshop, I'll be putting advice and tips in that you need to prevent injuries, right? This whole workshop is pretty much based around keeping you safe and getting you a really good result in the gym. Okay, so let's go straight into it. 6 steps to optimal health. Like I said, I'm just going to touch on these. If you've been to any other workshops or you've been coaching with me in the past, you would know what my 6 steps to optimal health are. So step number 1 is going to be obviously, so we need to have a motivation, mindset, okay, goals. Right? Ask yourself like this question today, and this is a big one I ask before I ever start coaching anyone. What is your goal? Right? So what do you want to achieve in 12 weeks' time? Can you see a vision of what you want to look like in 12 weeks' time? And do you believe that you can actually achieve that goal? There's some really, really important questions that you need to ask yourself, right? Because a lot of people don't believe they can achieve that goal. Right? They are trying. All right. I say trying because that word trying is a doubt in your subconscious mind that you can actually achieve the goal. Right? A goal is only going to be achieved if you really truly believe it can happen. If you don't believe it can happen, it won't happen. Believe me, it won't happen. So mindset is everything. So this is one of the most important parts of your journey. Whether it is weight loss or whatever your health and fitness goal is, we need to be quite clear and start to believe in yourself. So many people have started coaching that have got so much self-doubt and they don't believe they can actually achieve it because they've failed so many times in the past that they come on board a program and they start to fall off about 4 to 5 weeks down. Right? So my job as a coach is always going to be pushing to set these goals, right? Making it clear in your mind what you want to achieve, and obviously start to give you the belief in yourself that you can make those changes. Okay, step number 2, breathing. We must be able to breathe properly. Most people breathe chest. I want you to start breathing through the diaphragm. As you breathe in through the nose, stomach pushes out, exhale. Practice this 3 minutes at night before you go to bed, in the morning when you wake up, right? Because if you're not breathing correctly, if you're breathing short and shallow, what we do, we start to create a faulty recruitment pattern, okay? And it can start to have effect on the mechanics of the posture as well. Breathe in, we lift up. Exhale. Should be all diaphragm, right? As you breathe in, your belly pushes out, right? So this is step number 2. Step number 3 is going to be our hydration, right? Making sure you're drinking enough water. Okay, 2 to 3 litres per day is absolutely essential. And the quality of the water is really important as well, right? You should be drinking either obviously a bottled water, a pure tap, or I'm a big advocate of the Kangen water machine as well, right? If we're talking about tap water, forget it. All the chemicals is going to kill the enzymes in your digestive system. Not great for your weight loss journey. Okay? And talking about water as well, most people are so dehydrated that they're eating more food because they're not hydrated enough. They're dehydrated. So a big tip I always say to people: cut your food in half, drink twice as much water. Right, it's going to keep you more satisfied. Okay, sleep. If you're starting any sort of weight loss journey, exercise program, sleep has got to be essential. Right, we must be in bed at 10. And we must sleep till 6 o'clock, right? Your physical repair is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Psychological is 2 to 6, right? Really, really, really important, right? To get the body in a more natural state, right? If we're not sleeping in the hours, right, we start to disrupt our sleep-wake cycles. When we start to disrupt our sleep-wake cycles, fat storage is going to be a lot higher. The body is starting to work in a stressed state. It'll start to hang on to the fat stores, which we do not want. Right? So we want the body to be nice and to relax and everything working like it should be. Right? So most people's body is in a stressed state. Right? This is the first thing I need people to do on a weight loss journey, is get their sleep back to the natural rhythm. Right? Because it works with the sun and the moon, so this means cortisol and melatonin, right? Melatonin peaks, cortisol peaks in the morning and tapers throughout the day. Melatonin will start to come up, rise, 6, 8 o'clock, we start to get tired, 10 o'clock, we should be in bed. If we're having stimulants or watching television or we're out partying, whatever, right, we're disrupting that sleep-wake cycle. So it's not your body's natural ability to be able to stay in a relaxed state. And it'll start to chemically change the way that we process our foods, metabolisms, sugar cravings, all that type of stuff, which we don't want, right? All right, nutrition. Big topic, nutrition. The biggest tip I could give in the shortest amount of time would be identifying like your metabolic typing. Are you more protein type or more carbohydrate type? Right? What's the best type of like macros that are going to work best for you? Okay, I've got a quick, simple test in my onboarding form. If you haven't done that onboarding form, the bottom of that is going to tell you what your metabolic type is to help increase your metabolism. Right? Because if you're a protein type, you're eating too many carbohydrates, what's going to happen? You're going to store more fats. Or if you're a carb type, you're eating too many proteins, it's not going to be processing as fast, so that slows down your digestion, same type of thing, right? Fine-tuning, fine-tuning that diet is an essential part of working on your nutrition plan also. And I've been doing it for the last decade, seriously, fine-tuning that, trying to get that right. And I'm still working on it. It's pretty good, but there's always things that you can start to change. Okay, exercise. Exercise is what we're going to be going through today. Obviously, exercise is the 6 steps, so it's the least important. Right? Everything above that is more important than exercise. So if you think just going to the gym and smashing out a high-intensity workout is going to be a good thing for you, well, you have to think again. It's going to be good for short term, but it's not good for long-term results. The biggest problem with weight loss journeys is people don't stick to it. People don't last because they do all the wrong things, right? So the biggest thing that you can do is stick to them 6 or 5 steps above that exercise number 6. Let's talk about cardio training just quickly. I spoke a little bit about stress on the body. So many people think they need to do cardio to lose weight, burn fat. That is so far from the truth. Seriously, it's another added level of stress on an already stressed body, right? If you're drinking too many coffees, if you're working 12 hours a day, if you're sitting at a desk all day long, right? Going to the gym at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night and smashing out on the treadmill is not going to be ideal for your weight loss journey. Right? So we really have to think about what you're doing. Okay, the cardio isn't making you fatter because it's putting you in a more stressed state. So many weight loss clients come to me and they go, I can't lose weight. I'm doing all this cardio every night. I'm running. I'm doing all this sort of stuff. No, big no-no, right? The key is going to be, like I said, the 5 steps, trying to fine-tune that diet and then getting you through the progressions of a strength and conditioning program. All righty. So takeaways from those 6 steps. In regard to goal setting, I've got a program called My Pathway Predictions, right? Great source that you guys can watch just to help set your mind up and give you some good ideas and some guidance on what you need to do to set a goal. All right. Also, the tap water, right? 3 litres a day, 2 to 3 ounce litres a day for the hydration. The nutrition, identifying the metabolic type, is going to be absolutely fantastic for fine-tuning. Hydration, I said that, sleeping 10 to 6, right? Crucial sleeping times, absolutely essential. Alrighty, let's get started. So I'm going to talk about some phases shortly, but what I want to do first of all is just go through some basic stuff in regard to what you should be doing before you start your training. Okay, foam rolling, dynamic stretching. So this is some really important practical stuff that you guys can start doing before you go into your training sessions. Right? So my biggest tool that I use for training is the 4-inch foam roller. Okay, 4-inch foam roller is really, really important. You can see how small it is, and you can see how hard it is. Right? When something is so hard like this, what we're going to do is break down that fascial tissue. Right? That fascial tissue, because what happens, like when we've got a tight like muscle, sometimes stretching in the initial phases of starting your exercise program or journey is not going to stretch the muscle because the fascial tissue, the one that surrounds that sling, is stuck together, so the muscle fibers aren't gliding. So breaking that fascial tissue down is going to be really important before starting any stretching program. So I'm going to take you through my 5 best foam rolling exercises. The first one is for the quads. Now, if you look, you can see I've got 2 cameras here, and the second one with the side view. We're starting at the top of the knee, and we're just flicking across this. Now, the first time that I generally get people to jump on this, on the 4-inch, it's super hard, it's super painful. I see people with tears in their eyes almost. Yes, because our fascial tissues are so stuck together, that's where the pain is coming from. So we need to break that down. So 20 to 30 seconds, then we just start to come down, bringing that roller up to the top of the quad. Right, so break that down. And we're going to spend about 4 spots. Top of the knee, we start to move up. Right, 4 to 5 spots until we get to the top of the hip. Change. Now, if you guys are at home, what you can do is just join in, like follow along with what I'm doing today. Even if you haven't got a 4-inch foam roller, if you've got any equipment at all, it's going to be still useful and you can still follow along. All right, so once we've gone up to the top of that leg, what we'll just do is show these legs. Now, you can see in the video that I've got on the side here, what is happening is that I've only got that one leg on the roll. I see a lot of people start with 2 legs. If you want just one leg on the roll, and just flicking across. Flicking that across, nice and easy, right? Yep. And then we just come down a little bit. See the rollers there? When you've got the one leg, we're just flicking. Oh, yeah, it's so good. I've had a couple pretty big sessions. I did a hill repeat session for a run on Wednesday and a pretty hard strength session on the bike Thursday. Another run on Friday, and today was a time trial on the bike. So my quads really are loving this at the moment. There's a lot of muscle fibers that are definitely stuck together. Quite painful. All right, so this is my number 1 foam roll exercise. The number 2 is going to be the lats, right? The lats is a big muscle that attaches from here and it comes all the way down into the back, right? So if you've got any sort of back pain, releasing the lats can take a lot of pressure off the lumbar spine as well, because that's where they attach. Right, now the key is going to be the hand straight out, palm up, always. Then you've got the roller, you can see here I've got the back here, right under the armpit. Right, so this part right here, that's your lat. From there, what we do is just go over that side to side. Side to side. Nice one. Right, so again, 30 to 60 seconds on this one. It's going to help release that. And you might have a tighter spot either at the back, I know I do there, and I'll just stay on that. It might be a little bit crunchy, all right, that's okay. Stay on that crunchy spot and just release that. And then from here, what we're just going to do is just show the sides now. Easy one. That one's straight on that. Side to side. Breathing as well, right? Breathing, breathing. Side to side. Okay, now from here, the third one is going to be just a simple thoracic extension. Now, the roller is at your chest height, in the middle of your chest, right here. Hands go behind the neck, elbows together. When the elbows go together, the scapulas open up and you get more into that thoracic spine. Just right back. Keep the chin tucked. You don't want your head just drop back. Chin tucked. Spine. Spine. Holding this for 1 minute to 3 minutes long is a great starting point. Okay. Now the best way to get off, don't just crunch up, turn to the side and push up. Right. That can be very, very painful for most people. Okay. The fourth one, calves. Starting at the top of the ankle, cross that leg over, push the weight down, and just flicking across here. Side to side, flipping over that. 20 to 30 seconds and start to work that down. Really good one as well. Most people have tight calves. If your glutes aren't functioning properly, right, the calves get tight. Okay, so it's not really a quick fix, but in conjunction with some glute conditioning, right, and some calf stretching, you'll start to see that and start to release. So again, we're just going to be coming down, rolling over that until we get to the top of the calf and then change. Always starting at the bottom and pushing that up towards the heart. Again, it feels pretty good for me. Hopefully you guys are joining in at home and you can feel the pain, the crunchiness as well. Look, even though you've done some of this stuff before, right, you can't hear this stuff enough, and it's good to refresh. Right? It makes you think. Even for me, right, I've been doing this stuff for 2 decades. Right, I come along today, I think, I need to do more of that. So it's really good to refresh the mind in regards to what you need to be doing. And sometimes we forget, right? So we create some good habits, but then we forget them. And we go back to old habits, right? Comfort zones, right? We're always going to try to stay in that comfort zone that we love so much. As humans, we love to feel comfortable, right? We love comfort food. We don't like to put ourselves outside that comfort zone. Right? So I want to challenge you today to put yourself outside that comfort zone and start to do some things that are comfortable and can be quite painful. So that's sort of how we grow, that's how we challenge ourselves, and that's how we change, right? If we keep putting ourselves outside those comfort zones constantly, it becomes more natural. And then it's almost comfortable, right? So then we go, right, what's the next challenge? Okay, the last one is going to be the glutes. So watch this carefully. I'm sitting on that one side, right on that butt cheek. That side will cross over. And I'm just going to push that around. So this is more for what we call the piriformis, which is an external hip rotator. Right? So if your feet turn out when you walk, when you run, when you squat like mine do, that means that the piriformis is tight. So the external hip rotators are tight. So we need to release that. But also, if you sit down at the desk all day, right, it's really good just to start pushing some fluid around in your glutes as well. So it's almost like a bit of an activation too. So I just changed legs there, if you didn't. And you can get right to the outside if you wanted to. So you're going more into the glute medius and that TFL as well. So that's connected pretty much to that IT band. If you're a runner and you get any sort of pain in the knees, 90% of the time it's because that IT band is tight. Right. I said 5, but I'm going to take you 6 because I'm talking about IT band. Here and here, the knee's got to be bent, the body is straight, right? Pushing that weight down into that IT band. And this one, for like most people, is absolutely excruciating, especially if you've got a hard 4-inch foam roll, but very, very effective, right? Helping prevent that knee pain. But even if you're doing a lot of walking, right? Even obviously, if you're not a runner and you get any sort of pain in the knees, generally what happens is that IT band tightens up, the patella here rotates out. So the patella goes in the unarmed natural position, and that's when you start to get that knee pain. Just change sides. So this is the last foam rolling exercise. Now I'm going to really quickly just take you through some dynamic stretches that you can do as well, just to warm up. So just slowly rolling that down. That's super painful for me. See, my face has changed. Okay. Cool, perfect. Now, I did want to go through some activations just really quickly. Come on your back from here. The glutes are the biggest muscle of the whole body. Right? Now, we talk a lot about postures. Right? Postures, there's 2 types of pelvic postures. We've either got anterior pelvic tilt, which generally the glutes are not strong. Right? So this is especially common in females, especially like mothers that have had a couple kids and they haven't properly rehabilitated their core muscles correctly. Right? So glute conditioning is essential. If you've got anterior pelvic tilt, if you've got posterior, that means the pelvis is tipped backwards, generally because your glutes are super tight, right? Your quads and your hip flexors aren't as strong. So we've got that imbalance there, that postural imbalance, which is really important to understand. So, hip extension, touch the feet, head on the ground, bang up, squeezing. 2, 3, we do about 20 of these. 4, just to wake up the glutes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 is a good starting point. You could do 30, you could do 40, you could do 50, right? But these are absolutely essential to do straight after you've done your foam rolling. Okay, some dynamic stretching that I would love you to do. Okay, so just quickly from here, a simple hip flexor stretch, drop down. You can see I'm square through the front knee. The back knee is square as well. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. Same thing hip width in a lunge. I'll talk about this like when we get to the lunge, are in a tightrope. We need to be hip width apart. Just hold that for 5, come back, step back. Draw the belly in. You want to tuck here. Don't be like this. You want to tuck here under so we really start to feel this here. You've got to feel it here. Just hold for 5 and then change. This is a great dynamic stretch to start to loosen up those hip flexors, right? You can also reach up and reach over as well to the opposite hand. If you've got enough stability, up and over. Right, just 5 seconds. Just do one more of these. Then we're just going to go into some glute stretching here. So this is a bit of an ice skater, right? Now the back leg This one here, it doesn't touch, right? It taps. This is so good for stability as well through that knees, through the ankle knee hip chain, but also we're opening up that glute. This is especially good, like I said, if you've got that posterior rotation in your back, which generally means your glutes and your hamstrings are super tight. Hamstrings are next with just a simple dive. 2, 3, 5 down. Straight leg out the back. Waking up, because we're on that single leg as well, it's a great one for stability. Okay, so there's some really great dynamic warm-ups that you can do. I've got my notes here because I had so much information, I didn't want to leave anything out. Okay, so what we're going to go into next, I want to talk a little bit about core conditioning, shoulder conditioning, right? These are the absolute essentials before we go into any type of loads. So there are 3 types of phases generally that I want to be teaching today that is great for anyone that wants to lose weight, right? Those phases are, the first one is posture and movement, okay, like development. So this is pretty much what we just went through just then. I'm going to take you through a basic squat, lunge, push-pull exercise as well. And we're going to obviously talk about some core conditioning and shoulder stability, right? So those 3 things, right, like movement and development is the key, shoulder stability and core conditioning, right? So this is what people don't focus on in the gym. They focus on going on and jumping on a machine, doing a chest press or a leg press, right? That is not improving your movement. If we haven't got good movement in life, that's how we can get hurt, right? So for you to become stronger, we need to have a good movement in the body, but we have to have good shoulder stability, good core conditioning. The core is the core of the body, right? It attaches up to your shoulders. It goes down to your legs, right? Your pelvis. If you haven't got stability in your hips and pelvis, right, and you're trying to build strength in the gym or at home, wherever, right, it's not going to be effective at all, right? I can guarantee it's going to be short-term. So everything I'm teaching you today is going to be more long-term, right? So we need a long-term, healthy, functioning body for long-term, okay? Not just a short, obviously, quick fix, right? And that's what people love. I spoke about comfort zones. People want that magical pill that is going to get them strong in 4 weeks. Okay? It's impossible. Talking about that as well, strength and conditioning, it's probably one of the hardest things to build, right? Like muscle strength. It takes time. Okay, weight loss is a simple process, really. You can start to lose weight in 1 week, 2 weeks, or 4 weeks, right? I've had people dropping 10 kilos in 4 weeks. But when we come to strength, creating long-term strength, that takes time, right? I've been training in the gym since I was 13. So, my God, that's almost 30 years, right? So it takes a long time to build some muscle strength, but we have to understand that process as well. If we're not going through that process and think you can shortcut it, there is no shortcuts. There is no shortcuts to building strength in the gym. Okay, now let's just go through some basic movement and some technique stuff first of all. Let's come back here. Just bring this camera up a touch so you can see my full body. Now, let's talk about the squats. It's when we're squatting, right, ideally, it's to get you in the bar on the front or the back, which I'll talk about after. But the feet should be just a little bit outside, hip of the palm. Right? Now, as we push our bum back, the knees shouldn't go forward. Right? The biggest fault in squatting is 2 things. The knees will go forward or the upper body will collapse down. Right? So we want to be nice and straight here, nice straight line. Squatting down here, glutes activated. That's why we do the hip extension first. We get these glutes work. Breathe in, exhale. So a good body weight squat should be about 20 to 30 of them. You should be able to do them comfortably, right, before adding a load. Now, I showed you the hip extension, so that would be your bend. The goal is going to be to get you into a deadlift. Right? Your deadlift is the end, excuse me, it's going to be the end point of your training program that is going to get you the best result, right? Because it's got the biggest calorific burn, right? So we burn the most calories on a deadlift. So this is something I really want to get people up to in their program. And that would generally, if everything is going good and you do your homework, corrective exercise, stretching, all the 6 steps to optimal health, right, we can get you to that deadlift in around about 8 weeks. Okay, if you're doing all the work in between. So that's something to really think about, okay, because the deadlift at a heavy load. Now I'm going to talk about the phases of training shortly as well. So what I'm teaching at the moment is more posture and movement development. And then what we're going to go into is more endurance and stability. Then we go into what we call hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is a term meaning increasing muscle mass, right? So they're the 3 phases that I want to get you to, right? So posture, week 1 to 4, okay, endurance, stability, 5 to 8, and then hypertrophy, right, 9 to 12 to get a good change, a good result to build muscle. Yep. So that's in a perfect world. Everyone is going to be different, right? Some people I find we need to spend a bit more time on posture and movement, or we might go into that and spend some more time in endurance. It could be 8 weeks in endurance because I haven't quite got that posture and that movement to be able to have that ability to put that load on. Right? I've always said to people, you can't put a 2-story place on a shit foundation, right? And Paul Check also says you can't fire a cannon from a canoe. Same thing, that's the core, right? If you haven't got a core and you're trying to lift a heavy deadlift, it's like trying to fire a cannon out of a canoe, right? It doesn't work well. Something's going to go wrong. So the next one of the movement development is the lunges, right? The lunge. Here, remember I said, hip width apart, the feet are straight, the hands on the hips. Now, you can grab a stick, a broomstick, to assist yourself, because I want to get you guys up to 15 repetitions. So the knee should be outside the top. 2, right here. 3, core engages. 4, 5, 6. You can join in with this one if you want. 7, pushing through that front heel here. So it goes the heel, the quad, the glutes, right? Get these glutes working as well. 3, 2, 1 more, and then change. Perfect. 1 here, and that's another toe. 1, 2, 4, 5, straight down. 6, you don't want to be going forward, you want to drop straight down. Pushing through that front heel, getting that glute to work. It's 15, okay. Now for the push, imagine a stick staying on your back. I'm going to stay on my knees. So when your elbow is at 45, your hand's just next to your chest. Yeah, slow down. You might not need to go all the way. If you haven't got the shoulder stability, you probably don't need to go all the way. Stick on the back. Breathe in. Exhale. Now the movement development, we want to be able to build up to 15 to 20 reps, okay? Just working on the movement. Just have a look at yourself in the mirror, checking your posture. It's what you can do if your posture it doesn't feel right. You might need to go back and do an extra thoracic extension, right? Or you might not want to go back and do a few extra hip extensions, right? You might want to do some more hip flexor stretching, like I showed you in the beginning. Right? There's no wrong way of training if you're incorporating the corrective exercise into your training program. It's 15. Okay. For the back, generally just go a prone cobra here. Chin tucks under, thumbs up, squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back, draw the belly button in and squeeze the bum, squeeze the glutes. Just here. You can hold that. The goal is the starting point is 1 minute and can build up to 3 minutes. Okay. So, like I said, let's talk about quickly shoulder stability and core conditioning. So these bands have always been a really big part of my life in regard to exercise. I use them for everything. Okay. Now the shoulder, we got 17,000 shoulder positions. Right? I'm going to show you one basic way to train it today. But I want you to do a couple quick tests first. The first test is, come back here so you can see me in the side camera as well. How much range of motion have you got here? Right, for me, I'm tight here. I'm tight. Right? Now, it's not how far you can go here. You want to keep that shoulder retracted down. How far can you go? Right? Just check that. Because if you're super tight like me and you can't get it all the way down, you will need to do just some basic stretching. And this means the hand goes behind the back, shoulder retracts back, push the hand into the back, and just pull gently on this hand here. Right, and then we can change, hold that for 20 to 30 seconds. Really beneficial for stretching the external arms rotator cuffs. But in saying that, it's most females haven't got good external rotator cuff strength. So that what do you need to do? You need to do more strengthening and less stretching. So external rotator cuff on the band here. Squeezing this hand tight, just externally rotating. 3, good. 4, 15 to 20 again. 5, 6, shoulder stays still, elbow on the body. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and last one, 15. I'll spin around. 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. Okay. Another quick test that you can do also is a shoulder proprioception test, right? So if you've got unstable shoulders, like you want to be able to test it. So if you've got someone, great. If you don't, I'm just going to use this thing in front of me here. I'm just going to say I'm here. So what I will do is I move away so I'm not touching it. But what I've got here is a level point. When I close my eyes, I close my eyes, I lift up, and I want to bring down my hands to where I think that spot is. Now, if I open my eyes, pretty close, right? So what that means is that I've got a good shoulder proprioception, right? If people have not got good stability or good proprioception in their shoulders, that can start to lead to an injury, right? So at a point, you find the point, close your eyes all the way up, bring it back down to where you think that point is and open it. I'm pretty much identical, right? It's maybe a little bit higher. Okay, so just a little test that you can do just to test your shoulder proprioception. Right? If you've got bad shoulder proprioception, if you've got bad shoulder stability, and you're doing something like a heavy chest press or a lot of chest work or any sort of power movements, right? You're going to set yourself up for an injury. So just simple things to increase your shoulder proprioception is that exercise I just showed you, the external rotator cuff. Another good one is just squeezing your hands here, creating a little circle. Right? Another test that you can do, see how much endurance you've got in them stability muscles. I see people get fatigued doing this after 30 seconds. Right? So you might go in one direction for like 1 minute and then you go back the other way for like 1 minute. Right? Really, really good exercise for increasing that shoulder proprioception as well and stability as well. Right? So like I said, the shoulder is a very complex joint, 17,000 shoulder positions. Right? You need to take care of it. And if you get an injury in your shoulder, I've had like multiple injuries. I've had rotator cuff tears, shoulder separation in this one from motocross. Takes a long time, and if you get a shoulder problem, it'll stay with you for the rest of your life. I can guarantee it for sure. So something to be like very careful of, something to be very aware of when you're training in the gym. Yeah, do yourself a favour. Do that proprioception test, and that's going to give you a good understanding of like where your proprioception is. Right? If you're good, great, very positive. If you're not, start to work on, like I just said, shoulder circles, external rotators. There's so many shoulder exercises. I could just do like 90 minutes on shoulder exercises. But obviously I've got a lot more stuff to get through as well today. Okay, core. Now, 2 simple tests that I'm going to show you today. So most people at the start of my coaching program just are taken through the basic lower ab core test. So that just means what you do is your hands go on your back, right? Your legs start up here. You draw your belly button into the spine. You must have pressure on your hands, right? From the start, from here, and then we lower those legs down. Keep your head flat. Lower down. And when does that pressure come off? Right? If you keep that pressure all the way onto the ground, that means you've got 100%. If that pressure comes off almost straight away, right, at the top, which 95% of the people it does before starting any training program, or even people that have been training that do have a high training age, it can still come off because they're probably doing core exercises way too advanced and working their hip flexors and not their lower abs. Right, it's probably only 5%. Right, so I've had a few people that have not done this test properly, right? So it's super important. The hands are just where like the belly button is. You draw in and you put pressure on that hand, right? If you're pushing out, right, that's not the correct way to be doing it. What that is your rectus abdominis is too dominant. Your transverse and lower abs aren't working in sync. Right, so that's called a faulty recruitment pattern between the transverse abdominis and the rectus abdominis. If you've done a lot of crunches in your previous exercise program, or obviously, look, I suppose for me, as a kid, okay, football training, that sort of stuff, you're taught to do all those crunches, right? Because you think you're going to get that six pack, right? So that can start to activate the rectus abdominis and shut off all the other important muscles, which can start to lead to back pain, because the rectus abdominis works antagonist with the lumbar erectors, right? So if you're crunching here, like these guys are going to tighten up as well and put a lot of pressure on your vertebrae, which starts to lead to pain, and then obviously to a disc bulge as well, right? Probably about like 7 out of 10 people have got a disc bulge. So most people have got a disc bulge and have got no pain or no symptoms as well until something goes wrong, right? So just be very careful and think about that, right, when you are in the gym also. All right, now I spoke about 3 phases, right? So that was the first phase: movement development, posture correction, shoulder stability, core conditioning. They're absolutely essentials in regards to starting your exercise program. The next phase is the endurance stability. Okay, so like the rep range of this program is still 15 to 20 ounce reps, but what we're doing now is adding more load to the program. Okay, 2 to 3 sets I recommend on an endurance phase, right? Look, sometimes you could even do like 1 set. I would say for like women, it's more like 1 to 2 sets, or for guys, you could do 3 sets if you feel that you needed to. Like for me, as an endurance athlete, if I'm training in the gym, I very rarely do 3 sets. Right, 2 is enough, unless I'm in a hypertrophy phase of training, which is not very often. Okay, off season, I might do 2 to 4 weeks, and that's it for a whole 1 year. So the endurance stability, 15 to 20, 2 to 3 sets. It's more creating endurance in the body. Now, if you haven't got good endurance in the body, right, you're not going to be as strong when we go to the next phase. So there's a series of periodizations, I keep mentioning that word, so we can create a healthy, functioning body, right, and go through those like phases of training. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through some exercise. We're going to start with squats, right? Now, it's called endurance stability because we're going to be creating stability, right? So that means that we have to do things that are a little bit unstable. So I'm just going to move the cameras around a little bit so I can get you on the straps over here. Right in front of me. There we go. Right, perfect. This camera will come over here. It's pretty good. Okay, cool. Now, generally I would tie these handles together, but we're going to do it a little bit differently today, because these straps are set up a little bit higher. Now, a really important part of an exercise program, you see a few of the things I've had today: foam roller, also the bands for the rotator cuffs. The suspension training straps is also another important part of your strength and conditioning program, right? So if you haven't got a set of straps, let me know. I can definitely hook you up with a set of straps. So we're going to start with just a basic single leg squat here today. Right? Jumping forward, that front leg super straight, right? And you want that strap just on my right shoulder because I'm on the leg. We come down here, we bring that leg through. 1. 15 reps is good, right? 2, 3, slow down. 4, push the bum back so we're square here. 5, 6, 7. Hands are moving as well, because what we're doing is working within our gait patterns. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, perfect. Change legs. From here, same thing, down we go. 1, you might want to jump that foot around a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, keep point, knee, don't let it fold in. 14 and 15, beautiful. Okay, from here, next one we've got is the hip extension or hamstring curls. Just going to see if I can tangle this and tie it pretty good. Then we're going to go into a chest press and also a row as well. Whew, it's getting hot in here, the air conditioner just turned off. So, what we're going to go into next, a hamstring curl, would be, now these straps are going to be very high, so we're going to see if this works. It's going to work okay. But ideally, what you do is have the straps aligned lower. Okay, so just from here, hips up, pull in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So this is a great exercise for the hamstrings, also the glutes as well. So if you're like one of them people that have that anterior pelvic position, that's what this is going to do, is help bring those hamstrings tighter, shorten them, so the pelvis can come back in a good position as well. Okay, let's just go through next, just while we're on the straps, a chest press. Chest press is a great exercise on the straps. Why? Because we're creating stability in the shoulder girdle. So we're just falling into it, pressing. 1. From here, nice straight body. Right, from the feet, the glutes are strong, the quads are engaged. 15 reps. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, another one that you can do is the rows as well. So what I want to talk about here with the rows is here, you can see my back in the other camera very well. I'm pulling, 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 then bang is when my back actually squeezes. Those scapulars come together. Just 15 reps, right? Twelve, 13, 14, 15. So remember, those scapulars here, then they squeeze, right? I'm just going to move this back. We're going to go into some cable work next. So you can see I've got the cables here. Cables are one of the best forms of equipment that you can use. If you don't have a cable, you can always use a band to replicate it, okay? So if you're in the gym, if you've got access to some cables, absolutely fantastic. But if you don't, it's no great deal, right? The reason that I like to use cables so much is because you've got a constant time under tension. The biggest problem with the bands is like you've got a difference, gets tighter, 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 and then it's really strong, right? With the cables, you've got that same weight. It's right from the beginning. So from here, set yourself up in a lunge position, right? Half lunge. The scapula here is reaching, retract scapula back first, and then load. Breathe in, load, right? Now, two ways. A beginner way would be just starting here, starting point, keeping the core engaged, not moving that body too much, right? The hands are still like moving as well. So this opposite is squeezing into the spine. Breathe in, exhale. Right? Or we can add the progression where we're loading up more core engagement here now. Still on 15 reps, right? Change sides. I'll start again. Just easy. Now, I wouldn't generally change halfway through the reps into it's more of the full body, but just for a demonstration today, you would start here, you'd do a full 15 reps. I just want you to understand the technique, the posture, the core engagement. We can start to load better. Breathing as well, right? And there's 15. Okay. Right. Next one, the last one, I'm going to throw in one core exercise at the end of this program. So this is, remember, the endurance stability, right? Great stability on the straps. Still great stability on the cable because your core hasn't really got to activate. The next one is going to be the wood chop. Now, I find a lot of people struggle to get this. The first thing I want you to do is get your movement right here. Transfer the weight. Can you transfer the weight here? Chop. Breathe in. Chop, right? A lot of people, they tend to chop and come back. Chop here with the weight. They can't bend the other leg, right? Get this happening here. The hip should be straight to the front always. Right? So once we get that right, we can come here, we can chop down. Breathe in, exhale. All right? Pulling with that outside hand here. This one just goes over as a guidance. Pulling with that outside hand gets these obliques really kicking in, right? It's a wood chop, the obliques is what should be working. So this is a really good calorie burning exercise also. It's pretty close to the deadlift, right? Because you've got a lot of muscles that are activated, really good for metabolism. So I really like this one, especially in a weight loss program. 15 reps, change sides, change hands, remember. Outside hand grabs first. Chop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16. Wow, getting hot now. So that is the endurance stability phase, right? Approximately 4 weeks, depending on your ability, depending on your training age as well, okay? Right, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to move you guys. Come with me, come with me, come with me. We're going outside now. We're going outside. I'm going to set up for the hypertrophy workout, right? The hypertrophy workout is a really important one, and this is the phase we want to get you to. Okay, we want to get you to the hypertrophy. Why? Because it's going to increase your muscle mass, speed metabolism up, and burn more fat. That's what we want. Alrighty, cool. So the big bang exercises, we want the exercises that are going to give you the biggest bang for buck, right? I see people in the gym doing all this fancy bullshit, right? I see these trainers doing all these fancy bullshit like with their weight loss plan. You don't need to do it. You're wasting your time. We want the biggest bang for buck. Squats, right? And they're like your deadlifts. I like your lunges, your chin-ups, your chest presses. They're the best exercises to give you the biggest bang for buck when it comes to hypertrophy, right? Like we don't want to be doing any fancy shit. Right? We want to be doing all the full body functional exercises to get you the best results in the short amount of time. So this is what is going to increase your metabolism, right? So once we've gone through all that development phase, it's now time to add a load. Adding a load, keeping the rep range 8 repetitions to 12 repetitions, a few extra sets, right? 2 to 3, or even 2 to 5 sets. It depends on your training age. Depends if you're a male, or depends if you're a female, right? Female strength and conditioning programs are always going to be different to males, right? Because you guys have a different body structure. Okay, like females have got a different hip structure, right? You haven't got as much muscle mass on the upper body, right? So you're more susceptible to getting a rotator cuff tear. That's the last thing that you want. All right, so what we're going to start with is the squats. I'm going to bring my other camera out so you can see a side view. Just give me 1 sec. Alrighty. Here we go. So, just got this machine. Now, squats, a few variations that we can do. Well, 2 variations. I'm going to teach you today either a back squat or a front squat. Right. Now, if your training age is low, what you will need to do is more of the back squat, right? Because a front squat is a little bit more advanced, does put a lot more pressure on your lower back as well, but it is great conditioning for the thoracic erectors and your lumbar erectors as well. So like really, really important. I was going to say, but again, if you're doing a back squat and you've got that anterior pelvic tilt, you've got any problems in your disc in your lower back, the front squat is going to be the way to go, like definitely. Now, I always suggest if you're going to load up on the squat, you do it on a cage. It's a no-brainer. You have to do squats on a cage if you've got a load. As simple as that. Today, I'm not going to put a load on because I'm just teaching you guys, but you'll get an idea. Always doing your squats on a cage. So back squat. Here we go, under the bar. Now, it is super important, right, to make sure that we get that bar in a foundation position. So many people I see squatting with their hands too wide. Right? 2 things that means, it's number 1, okay, it's obviously like you're not too sure what you're doing. Or number 2, you're so tight in the chest, you have to compensate for that technique. What you need to work on more chest stretching. Okay, it's more like back conditioning. So, like I said, if you haven't got the foundations, if you haven't got the development, and you're putting a load and you're doing shitty technique on a bad posture, you're going to get hurt. So, it's super important to make sure you start to work on things and understand your body, how it works, before you go into anything. So, lunge position, feet width apart. You can see my knuckles here are flat to the roof. Right, my elbow position. Now I've got the bar just below that 6-7 spine, but on the top of my scapulars. Right, it sits there perfectly. I unwrap, I step back. I set my feet up, I draw the belly button, and then I swap. 1, glutes, slow down, breathing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's just say I lifted 60 kilos for 10 reps. Okay? You've always got to wait before the next set. 60 to like 90 seconds in a hypertrophy program. Okay, so let's just say I waited. I want to show you in the next set is a front squat. How to set up the bar. You've got to have the knurling on the bar. Make sure it's even. Okay. I've got the bar on my front of my delts. My fingers, see I've got here. I cross them and I interlock it. Right? I lift that up. Here now. Set my feet up again. Off I go. 1. Great for the thoracic. 2. Good for the lower back. Good for the core as well. You need to really keep your belly button drawn in. Breathe in. Exhale. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Let's walk it forward, keep it tight, drop it down. Same with your back squat. Keep it safe, okay? Okay, the next one are deadlifts. Ideally, what you could do is you add a load, but like one thing I want you to think about, bringing the bar up off the ground. Too low, even me, who's got like reasonably good posture and good technique, I wouldn't start with the bar from the ground. Right? If you've got a squat cage that's got some like racks here, you could have it here and start there. Or what I like to do is bring it up on some plates. All gym, so by steps. Right, so let's just do this here. Bring that out. Yeah. Right. Okay, now for your deadlifts, always you want to be just outside your hip width apart. Your feet turn down slightly 20 degrees. Come down. Always go a staggered grip to start with because you're going to be changing each set. Come down, position, set, lift. Right, down we go. Breathe in. Exhale, glutes. 1. Slow down. See my position here? 2. Shoulders back. Strong, straight arms. Breathe in. I look in front, and then I look straight ahead. The biggest problem is people do this. Right? You don't want to be doing this. Too much pressure on the neck. You want to look down, your bend, up. Really important to think about your knee bend. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. exhale. And only go down to where you think is comfortable. I see people with the deadlifts just trying to go too deep. You don't need to go too deep. So what's happening? You're losing that upper body strength, that upper body thoracic, right? You're rounding. You want to be able to keep your body in a neutral position as you bend. Right? And that's where all the movement development, prone cobra is a great one to help increasing that. Okay, 2 more exercises before we wrap it up. Chin-ups. If you're training at home, you want to get yourself a band. If you've got a gym, you'll go on the assisted chin-up machine. But today, we're going to be using just a band to offload. Okay, here, the foot goes in. Now, your grips. We've got a lot of different grips that we can use on the chin-up. 2 grips I would teach you would be a wider grip, or for any beginners, protect your shoulders, underhand grip. It's more a pull-up. Right? I like this one, especially if you've got any history with any like neck problems, neck pain, tight like muscles in the neck. Go underhand grip to start with. From here, I'm just going to pull up. So it's assisted now. 1. From here, the shoulders are at the ears. Before we pull up, we drop them down and then squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Okay. Oh. Getting very, very hot outside. If you didn't know, I'm not in Australia, I'm in Phuket, and it's about 33, 34 degrees outside. Very humid. So if you see my face and my arms, I'm sweating. Sweat dripping everywhere. Okay, last one, chest. So, chest press. What I'm going to be doing here for a chest press, so I'm just going to come down. So if you haven't got a bench at home, right, but you've got some like dumbbells, I would love you to be like using them on a fit ball. I don't have a fit ball today. I'm going to keep it really, really simple, and you're going to be doing it just on the ground. It's the safest way to start a hypertrophy program with a good load. Right, so remember we got 10 reps. I'm going to be using just a lighter weight today just to like demonstrate. So what we can do here, just come on down, get the weight. Chest, if you've got someone spotting you, it's even better. But just from here, now see the elbow is low. It's at 45 degrees. The weight is at the chest height. I just push it up under the chin. Come down 45. You don't want that weight to push too hard on the ground. You want to keep that time under tension. It looks like it's touching. Yeah, I'm touching, but I'm resting here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I said, 8 to 12 repetitions for the hypertrophy program is absolutely essential. Now, the last exercise, core exercise, because you've got to throw in a core exercise at the end of every program, right? And this is a great hypertrophy exercise for the uppers and the lowers, right? So I've got a 15 kilo, but I could easily go to like 50 kilos. In the gym back home, I was doing like 50 kilos of these. So if you're a beginner, if you're a female, 10 If you're a guy, 15 to 20 would be a good starting point. Okay, so what we're going to do is just come down on our back, and we're just going to have the weight right up the front here, under the chin. The legs come up, chin to chest, crunch up. 1, 2, 3. Keep the tongue top of the mouth. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same thing. 10 to 12 repetitions. And you can see I'm very sweaty. Whew. Okay. I'm going to take you back inside, guys. Try not to sweat on my computer too much. Bring you back inside where it's a little bit cooler. I think the air conditioner automatically turned off. But... All right. Whew. Wow. So if you guys have got any questions, I want to just open it up, spend a few minutes just chatting. If you've got any questions, please unmute and let me know. Any questions? No? Okay, fantastic. If you're watching the rerun, please send me an email, send me a message, online messenger. I'd love to answer any questions, anything you're not sure of, anything that you need to know, that'd be fantastic. Let me know. Okay, so I just wanted to go through a couple cool down stretches. Hip flexor is the best one in this position. Tuck the bum under. Holding these stretches now for 20 to 30 seconds. All right, I'm going to run through this pretty quickly, so I won't hold it. Next one out front for the hamstring. Tip, 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 tip. And just chain, like I said, 20 to 30 seconds. Just about out of time, so I'll fly through these reasonably quickly. Hamstring again. I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Most importantly, thank you so much for making a donation. Right, $10 is going to be a lot of money. Like I said before, it's going to feed a family, whole family, for probably up to 4 to 5 months. Just spread the legs out here. So it's called the frog pose, and then just pushing the bum back. Right for the insides of the legs, right? And what we can do here is just come out, stretch your lats, interlace them and 2 hands together, top one on the bottom, and pull back. Just change again, other side. And the last few stretches I like to go through is of the neck. You can also do a lot more stretches through the glutes, the QLs. But I'll keep it reasonably short. Just a few basic ones for you to do. Just make sure you're stretching through the traps. Pull the head over. Other side. So a couple of recommendations I wanted to make as well in regard to, I suppose, like injury, maintenance and prevention. Postural assessment is absolutely critical, right? Because it's going to help assess what your problems are, what your imbalances are. I can do that. I can do a postural assessment online. All I need is like 4 pictures. So if you're interested in postural assessment, just let me know. I can help you out with that. But it's also good if you've got obviously a physio, chiropractor can possibly be of some assistance. But generally, if you've got like muscle imbalance, it's muscle tightness or like weakness. So obviously a physio can be a lot greater help. If you haven't got a physio, just let me know. Obviously, massage is great as well. I'm a big advocate of like massage 2 to 3 times a week, probably every night in Thailand here. Yeah. It's cheap. It's maybe not every night, but at least every second night. Sports doctor as well, if you can't resolve a problem, right, if it's still there, niggling, and you've done the posture work, you've done the core conditioning, you've been to like a physio, you've done obviously something like massage, a sports light doctor could be the next option as well, just to get a professional opinion, and they can do some further investigations if it's an MRI, if it's a X-ray, ultrasound, all those types of things are really important as well. To seeing your normal GP, I'm not going to recommend that, right? Your normal GP has not got injury experience. Right? They might give you some painkillers, or they might tell you to stop training, right? It's not really the best advice that you could get in regard to an injury. So keep that in mind, right? I hear so many people tell me they've got an injury and they've got to go see their doctor. I say, don't waste your time. Seriously, like go see a professional. Okay, but most importantly, you need to do that foundation, the posture. Okay, if you're working on posture, your flexibility, your core condition, shoulder stability, everything I've taught today, right, and it's still not improved, then you'll go to obviously a physio. You'll start to experience more like massage, right? So a doctor would be the last thing, and just go and see your GP. Don't waste your time, right? He's going to put you on meds and tell you to stop training. Right? That's not what you want. So I'm generalising, obviously, other doctors now. I know that there are some great doctors out there. There are some holistic other doctors that would not do that. But, right, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be told to stop training. I say this out firsthand because of 2 decades as a personal trainer. I have so many clients that go to doctor and a doctor says, stop training. I'm like, why? You don't need to. We can decrease it, change it, and stop those things that are causing you pain. So don't stop training because the doctor said stop training. Change your training. That's what you need to do. You need to start working on everything I taught you here today. Okay, competition time. I've got a 12-week coaching package to give away to a non-account member, a non-light member. So what you need to do is be the first one to email me, right? Competition and non-account member. Go. The first one. Second prize is to a member to get a free upgrade. Right? You need to email me. First one to email me. Competition, non-member. Right? Now, I've also got a 12-week coaching package at 50% off. I'm going to give away to the first 5 people only today. And this is only for today. Please don't ask me tomorrow. So if you wanted to purchase a 12-week coaching package, or you're on a program already and you want to continue again, you can purchase like this at 50% off. Okay, so all you need to do is message me today and just let me know, and I'll sort that out for you. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Big thank you for joining me today, and a big thank you for making a donation. I've got some charity work next week, which I'll be doing a lot of videos and pictures and stuff, and you'll see all the work that I'm doing. That 10,000 Thai baht from this event is going to be going to some really good people in need. So thank you so much again. It's been great teaching you all these exercises. If you couldn't make it today, I'm hoping that you're watching a rerun now. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend. Ciao for now. Thanks for coming.